He's Will Ferrell. He has a documentary, Will and Harper, that comes out next Friday, September 27th. And Will's good friend of 30 years, Harper Steele, comes out as a trans woman. And then they decide to go on a road trip. The trailer looks awesome. Will Ferrell joining us on the program. By the way, before we get to this, Al Michaels was on yesterday.
Okay.
Al Michaels said he's done everything. He wants to do the Westminster Dog Show, but he will do it if you do it with him. Would you be willing to do the Westminster Dog Show with Al Michaels?
I would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah. There's no question.
Okay. All right.
Okay. How do we get this going?
Paulie, can you send you? Paulie knows the person or somebody there. Yes, Paulie.
I'm tight with the dog people there, Will. I broached them yesterday. They are on hold for your commitment.
Okay. Well, I think it's go. I think this is green light time.
Will you guys be involved in any way?
We would be there like a support. We'll be support dogs. Like we would be there for you to keep you company.
I'm thinking live remote. I'm thinking you guys do the show from the Westminster Dog Show.
All right, done.
That either precedes or follows the actual show.
We'll have a post Westminster Dog Show, like a wrap-up show.
And you can have guest trainers and guest dogs, and
kind of like a Manning cast, but for dogs.
100%.
I love it. Okay, so tell me how you came about this. The trailer looks great. And you've known Harper Steele from Saturday Night Live days, so you've known him 30 years now. Trans woman.
Her
now.
We met in 1995. We've known each other almost 30 years. She was one of the first writers who befriended me at the show. We joke about it in the doc that Saturday Night Live isn't necessarily a warm, fuzzy place. And when you show up on the job, especially back then, I think we had 8 new cast members, an entire brand new writing staff, and no one really gave you marching orders. So I was kind of trying to meet people and say hello, but it was not, I wouldn't say it was going well. In fact, I found out later that people were like, "What's up with that guy? He seems nice, but he doesn't seem very funny." Harper and I went to lunch one day, and because we hadn't really met each other, and she was one of the first people that I had kind of a one-on-one, and we were able to. She was able to report back to the group of writers, going, "Don't sleep on him. He's actually really funny." That's kind of how we kicked it off.
When did you know she was coming out as a trans woman?
Well, she sent an email out to. Our friend group, probably 3 summers ago, simply with the subject line, and only the way a comedy writer could do it. "Hey everyone, here's a weird one," and then proceeds that at age 59, I'm going to transition to be a woman. And
did you think you were being punked?
There was part of me that, for sure, that's always the knee jerk. And yet, as I read through the email again and again, I couldn't figure out what the end game would be here. So I knew it was real, and I, of course, reached out to her and said, "Wow, congrats! Can't wait to see you." And it took about, that was during COVID, so it took a good 6 months for us to finally kind of have coffee and have a face to face. And one of the things, if you know Harper, she loves taking cross-country road trips. That's as long as I've known Steele, she's allowed for time in her schedule to take 5 days to go from LA to New York or back and forth. And she was lamenting to another friend of ours that now, as a trans woman, I don't know if I feel safe going into the same dive bars I used to not think twice about. And an idea popped into my head when we first met. I said, "Harper, what if we take a road trip, and it'll serve 2 purposes. I can maybe be a buffer for you to go into these places that you're now experiencing as Harper for the first time. At the same time, I get a chance to ask you all the questions that I have, that I think a lot of us have who don't know anyone who's trans, or don't know that we know anyone. And I go, please, I expect you to say no. I'm not trying to exploit our friendship. And she did. She said no. And then I think the more she wrapped her head around it, she thought, no, this could be cool, and this could help me with my transition. And to be quite frank, to not get too deep on it, it would just be a blast to get someone to pay for us to take a 17-day road trip. So we did it, and it is one of the more remarkable things I've ever gotten to be a part of. The response to this, we've been at a number of film festivals, and we were just in London. We're going to do some more promotion here in the States, and people are really responding to this discussion that we have. Obviously, we're talking about the trans experience, but at the same time, it's really just a movie about having your friends back. It's about friendship. It's about advocacy. It's really about civility, which we're finding that everyone's thirsting for. Let's just be nice to each other. And it's really funny. We make fun of each other the entire road trip, and I'm very proud of it.
Talking to Will Ferrell, the documentary comes out Friday, September 27th. It's called Will and Harper, and Harper Steele comes out as a trans woman, and they embark on a road trip. There is a great line in the trailer where the fact that she's now a woman, you ask about her driving skills.
Yes, immediately. I say, now that you're a woman, are you a worse driver? And she immediately starts to dispute it and say, come on, give me a break. And then she says, but yes, I
am. A risk for you in doing something like this? It's not in your normal wheelhouse here.
Right. I thought about all the ramifications prior to doing something like this, positive or negative. And, once I kind of make a decision about any sort of creative choice, or really any sort of life choice, I'm not one to really look back and second guess it. So, possibly. At the same time, I think this is an opportunity for someone who'd be considered part of my audience, a chance to be educated in an area that they wouldn't think about. Also, it helps when you're kind of on the downside of your career. There's I'm a low A-lister, high B-list actor these days, so I think there's no risk whatsoever.
When were you an A-lister?
Well, that doesn't, Dan, come on. I had a great run.
Well, I know, but when did you become that A-lister? Was there a moment where you go, yep, honey, I'm an A-lister?
Well, that's my mantra. I tell myself that every day when I look in the mirror. But by
the way, your hair is looking Napoleon Dynamite like. You're with the glasses and the hair. It's never the same way twice.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
That's Hollywood. That's an A-lister.
Yeah. Don't cut your hair. You never know if you need it long or short.
But you did become an A-lister at one point.
I guess so. I guess it was kind of the trifecta of old school Elf and Anchorman that put me on the map.
And Elf, who would have thought? Well, you didn't think that was going to be.
I certainly didn't.
That was career suicide, probably. It could have been, I guess.
Well, I think we talked about it, and how this is. I just remember sitting in a very small trailer in New York, kind of the first week of filming, staring at myself with a very dangerous space heater in the wall that was sparking. and thinking to myself, oh, this movie better work, or you're done.
Are you a European soccer owner now? Is it official with?
It is official.
So you're Leeds.
I'm a member of Leeds ownership. In fact, I just caught a match last weekend.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. They lost, but so I hope I'm invited back. But no, amazing atmosphere. Going over there watching those games are unlike any other.
I'm not this. These are preliminary talks, but somebody at ESPN said they're thinking of doing a 30 for 30 on our trip to Dublin. And yeah, I think
this is our 1 year, 1 month anniversary.
Yes,
right around the time.
Yes. Your favorite memory of going with this show to Dublin was?
Favorite memory? Oh my gosh.
If you don't remember anything, that's okay.
I do remember going to that. We went to that whiskey bar.
Yeah.
After one of the shows.
Yeah.
And we were having some Keeper's Heart, but there was this collection of whiskeys. And I remember we were standing out front, and I think we were having a cigar out there in front.
Yes.
And I do remember getting you to laugh because the police, there was a police car coming down the road, and I just took off running.
I know.
And everyone looked, half the people thought, oh God, he's really in trouble.
Didn't you have your yellow jumpsuit? And
but Dan, you were right there on the bit. You knew. That's a go-to move of mine. If I hear a siren, I just take off running.
Just start running?
Yeah.
My favorite moment was seeing you and Brady Quinn wrestling.
Well, also too, the form tackle of the Notre Dame coach when he lifted me 3 feet off the ground.
Oh, Marcus Freeman?
Yeah, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. You're like a stunt man. You do your own stunts. You're like Tom Cruise.
I was supposed to do that movie that Ryan Gosling did.
Oh, really?
But I turned it down. I let Ryan do it.
Yeah.
I got a question, Dan. Did you guys go to Minneapolis?
Yes.
Were you in a parade?
Yes.
What? Where was I?
I always feel like I ask too much of you.
I would have been there in a heart. I would have.
You would have been there in a keeper's heartbeat.
Yes. But
yes. I was the Grand Marshal.
Oh, you were the Grand Marshal. So you didn't want anyone getting in your
maybe.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Probably okay. So. Probably in retrospect, I wanted the state. See, you're right. I didn't want you there. Yeah. I didn't want you there. Next year.
Yeah. I want to be on my own float way in the back.
Okay. We can do that.
I want to be on just a bicycle with some streamers.
But we could just get liquored up and have a good time.
I still need to. Brian Nation keeps hounding me. I got to go out and sample from my own barrel.
You have your barrel there.
I have my barrel.
And it's
I
there.
had to buy an extra seat and coach
to bring it home.
Fly home. Yeah.
Your Trojans in the big house tomorrow.
I know, very exciting. This is a real litmus test for us. What do you think? I mean, it all comes down to stopping the run, right?
And playing good defense. And protecting the football.
But I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about in life. It all comes down to stopping the run.
Good luck with the movie, the documentary. It's on Netflix. It's next Friday, September 27th. And if you want a taste of it, you can download the trailer. It is emblematic, I hope, of the documentary. And if it is, it'll be awesome. But Will and his good friend of 30 years, Harper Steele, comes out as a trans woman. And hilarity ensues as they embark on a road trip there.
Absolutely. It's surprisingly funny. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you having me on and getting to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's one of the cooler things I've gotten to be a part of.
Well, you said that playing all 9 positions in spring training might have been a little better than this, more rewarding, but
yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah.
Well, the Westminster Dog Show will be the
Okay.
crowning.
Now I'm serious. Al Michaels wants to do this.
God love him. Yeah, I can't say no to that. There's no way I could say no to that.
All right. Thanks for joining us as always.
All right.
That's
Thanks, buddy.
He's a European soccer club owner. He's Leeds United.